What is up, all you freaks out there? This is Ryan.
And this is Rhonda.
And I want to be the very first to tell you guys, of course, maybe not the first one to tell you guys this because it's the biggest holiday ever, but it is National Skyscraper Day.
Ice scraper?
Yeah, skyscraper.
Skyscraper.
That would be
that's
weird.
better than ice scraper.
I mean, Ice Scraper Day is probably a little bit farther, maybe farther in the year, or maybe like January. I'm sure there is an ice scraper day. But today we celebrate the mighty skyscraper. So if you see a skyscraper, go give it a hug, give it a high five if you want. You know, tell
Take
it
the
you
elevator
love.
to the top floor.
Yes, yes. Finish the show first. Finish the show first, and then go show your
Then go.
appreciation.
Show your appreciation.
Yes, if you live in a city. If you live like in the country like us, look at a picture of a skyscraper and just say thank you. Thank you, Mr. Skyscraper, for all you do.
For all you do, for standing tall day after day.
We appreciate how I love how they scrape the sky. That's like my favorite thing. They scrape it.
They scrape it.
They scrape it. Although, isn't scraping like going across, like scraping something? They stand still. So how are they scraping anything?
That's a good point.
This is a deep thoughts.
Deep thoughts of Ryan Jones.
We should rename it now. We gotta make a rename the skyscraper.
Super tall building day.
The sky pokers. That's what they're called from now on.
Pokers.
The sky poker.
Works for me.
Let it be known from here on out. The skyscrapers are now called the sky pokers. We make change, positive change here on the Freakin' Awesome Paranormal Show.
We do.
Guys, there's also Telephone Tuesday. Apparently, back in the day when people used telephones, the day after Labor Day, where they had a huge spike in telephone calls.
The day after Labor Day?
The day after Labor Day, they had a huge spike in telephone calls. So much so that they named a holiday Telephone Tuesday.
Well,
so
why?
The more you know.
Wonder why there's more phone calls.
I did not know that. I wasn't aware. So we've learned two things. Skyscrapers are now called sky pokers.
Sky pokers.
Get the word out, guys.
Yeah.
Let it be known. And apparently people caught a lot of businesses on Tuesday after Labor Day.
It's probably more a lot of people calling in sick to work the day after
Probably.
Labor Day.
The Freaking Awesome Deep Think. Yes, we are very deep here in the Freaking Awesome Paranormal Show. What's up, Tyler? Hey, Marilyn. Hey, Shayla. Hey, Shayla. Lois Clark. What is up? Emily C. Warner is in the house.
Hey, Emily.
Hell to the yeah. Awesome. Now we're going to let the cards tell us how to live our lives this week.
Yes. We've got the fun Rebel Oracle deck again today. Ryan, pick a color. Blue, purple.
Let's go for red.
Red. All right. We're going. It's kind of an orange red, but it'll do. You are the best thing to ever happen to you. Go easy on your ass. Buy your own damn drink.
Yeah. So don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah. Go buy yourself a damn drink.
Yeah.
You're the best thing ever that happened to you.
Yeah. I mean, without you, there'd be no you. So there you go.
Right. We're all blessed to have you. We say go have yourself a drink.
Exactly. Everyone, just enjoy yourself. Be thankful to yourself and love yourself.
But I think that's an important lesson. It's all in fun and games, but I think we all talk to ourselves too critically.
I do the same thing.
Enemy. And it's a true thing that if you're like working on the laws of intention or manifesting anything, that your own thoughts can bring negative stuff to you as well. So tell yourself you're awesome and buy yourself a drink.
Emily C. Warner.
You got one.
She's showing her appreciation for herself by drinking a glass of wine.
There you go. There you go.
I will tell you, this is my second cup of tea because guess what I did? I made coffee tea again.
Coffee again?
Yeah.
No
way. Coffee tea.
Mm-hmm.
I was just before the show started. I'm like, oh crap! Why does it smell like coffee?
I think it's your subconscious. I think you subconsciously do it.
Yeah, because I want to stay up all night.
Hey, Jeremy.
What is up, Jeremy from Beyond the Badge Paranormal?
Myself and I
aren't speaking terms. Well, hope you guys work it out.
Buy yourself a drink. Buy
yourself a drink. Maybe buy yourself 2 or 3 drinks. And have a long conversation with yourself. So this is the time of night where we expand our vocabulary. Yep. And this isn't as bad as the last one was.
It's pretty bad.
There's no poop being spread everywhere. So this is from the 1600s. The word is Zooterkins. Zooterkins, yes.
Sounds like almost like a pet name for somebody, but I'm sure it's not.
Camilla.
Your little Zooterkins.
My little Zooterkins, come here. Oh, you're so cute. I'm a little Zooterkins. It is not a pet name for somebody, just so.
What is it?
I can call you Zooterkins if you want me to. I'll be like, okay.
Let me find out what it really means first. Then
it is. It was used to communicate surprise or anger. Like it's like a damn. Back, you don't want to say damn. You say Zooterkins. Zooterkins. I wish they, caught that ghost on camera or whatever. So again, not bad. If you want to say damn, let's say you're in 2nd grade, and you want to say the D word. But you can't because you're in class and teachers don't like when you say the D word in class. Just say Zooterkins. And they'll be like, oh, well, they might look at you strange, think you need to be in a special class, but you get away with it.
You can get away with it.
You can get away with it. So there we go. Zooterkins, guys, spread the word. So we've learned 3 things today. Don't be so hard on yourself.
Yep.
Zooterkins. Is the new word for damn. Sky pokers, new word for skyscrapers, and what was the other one? Telephone Tuesday. Telephone freaking Tuesday.
Hello, Brady.
We have a new segment. Before this is going to be for everybody here. So let me bring on Amy, Sharon, and Sandy from the Maryland Ghost Trackers. Welcome to the show out of Baltimore, Maryland. We're so happy to have you here.
We are thrilled.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi. So I have a question for you guys. This is a paranormal more like a creepy would you rather.
Okay.
I'm going to start a new section, new part of the show. Would you rather, if you're guaranteed not to get hurt, okay? This is would you rather be stuck in a pit of snakes or spiders?
Snakes.
Spiders.
Snakes.
Spiders.
Definitely spiders.
Snakes. I'm team snakes. Spiders can get all over me. Ooh, makes me cringe just thinking about it.
Oh no. Snakes and I. Nope.
I'm with you. No snakes here.
No.
No spiders. No spiders.
So it's kind of 50-50 on that. I am definitely team snakes. Teresa says snake spiders are too small. Yes, spiders can get places that you don't want. I guess snakes can too. Technically, that could be a thing. So, how are you girls doing tonight?
We're good. I'm good. I can't speak for the rest of everybody, but I'm good. I'm tired. Okay. I'm going to admit it's past my bedtime, but hey, we're good.
Well, we definitely appreciate you being a trooper for us and hang out with us tonight. Did you guys have a good Labor Day weekend?
Yeah, we did. I did. Yeah, it was busy.
I did too.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So I'm going to start with Amy, then Sandy, and then Sharon, okay? How did you get into the paranormal?
Well, I guess just like everybody, when you think about it, I grew up in a home that was haunted. I grew up in a row home in Baltimore City. And at night, I would feel like it definitely felt like somebody was tucking me into bed. And I'd scream for my parents and, it's your imagination kind of thing. It also felt like stroking my cheek or something like that. And then one time I saw what looked like a figure in the doorway and I screamed. Of course, it was all my imagination. We moved out of that house when I was about 10, moved into another home that was fine, but I myself could feel the heebie-jeebies in that house. You definitely picked up that something weird was happening there. Do you know what I mean? And then it just stayed with me, it just interested me. I wanted to know more as I got older. I'm not going to say, I definitely was a little bit frightened, to get involved in that. But years later, well, to be honest with you, I was in the convent for like 5 years. I left home and went to the convent, and surprisingly, even with the Catholic Church, there were stories going around in the convents of hauntings. So that kind of, got me excited as well. Later on, I'd say just probably about 15 years ago, I moved into my parents' old house. It's not the same house that, when I was younger. And we had all kinds of crazy stuff happening. And then I got involved with Maryland Ghost Trackers and moved away from that house. That house was wicked in the sense of I was one that never necessarily believed in that objects moved. Oh, I guess we have feedback.
Yeah, what was...
But I actually witnessed that, caught it on the Nest Cam. So that was really freaky. But when I had the chance to get involved with Maryland Ghost Trackers, I was super excited. In regards to that house I grew up in when I was little, I later found out that my grandfather had taken his life in that house. So I kind of think it was maybe his energy or spirit around in the house, because it was more of a loving gesture of tucking you in at night.
Yeah, it's tough when you're a kid because you don't realize that's what's going on. And
exactly.
I guess if you're a parent and your kid comes in to tells you this stuff, you don't want to freak them out. Be like, oh my God, yeah, your room is haunted.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be like, yeah, you got to tell them it's just your imagination, because if you don't, you might scare them.
Exactly.
So I guess it's really hard to really know what the right way to approach, especially if you're not into this way of life.
Exactly. No, that makes sense.
How about
in the convent when you were there?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Pardon? Yeah.
Activity in a convent. Interesting.
Yeah, there was. People definitely told some crazy stories about what happened in different convents. That there would be daily mass if you lived in a big enough, well, every convent actually that had a little chapel inside, for mass and prayers. And in a particular high school, which is closed down in Baltimore now, the sisters reported that, people would sign up to read the from the Bible that day, the readings, and nobody would get up. Somebody would sign it. But then when they went to have mass and then somebody stand up to read, nobody would stand up. So somebody was scribbling something. They couldn't make out the sister's name. And then when they went to it was their turn to get up to speak, nobody would get up. So the superior of the house had to get up and go do the reading. And she's like, we never figured it out. They were like, we had no idea who was it wasn't a joke. The sisters weren't doing it to one another. It would just be scribble up there, and who knows, right? Who knows? But they would definitely hear mailboxes opening at night, when everybody was lying in bed and all that jazz. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm guessing the sisters aren't known for their practical jokes.
Right, exactly.
Classic nun humor, ghosts,
Right. Let's pretend we're going to sign up,
Yeah, exactly. It'll be really fun. How about you, Sandy? How did you get into the paranormal?
Well, it's been a kind of a long process. When I was younger, weird things would happen to me, but I always thought of it because I like to read, Stephen King and the Amityville Horror and things like that. And so I just kind of played it off until I met my husband, and he actually has a spirit that follows his family. And after we bought our first house together, really weird things started happening. Like alarm clocks would go off in the middle of the night and nobody ever set them. My son that was like less than a year old I would walk into his room and he would be outside of his crib, and there's no way he got out of his crib on his own. And then I started watching Ghost Hunters, and more things would happen around the house. And I had a cousin who her daughter got killed by a drunk driver, and ever since she passed away, she has been telling me all these stories about how her daughter's reaching out to her and talking to her from the beyond and everything. And so that's basically what's really gotten me into it. I went to go see the same medium that my cousin did after her daughter passed away. And it's just so many things have happened and make sense, things disappear and reappear, and my kids telling me they see shadows, and me having dreams of my dad visiting me, and seeing full-bodied apparitions in my bedroom at night, and getting so cold that I can't warm myself up. It's just so many different things have happened over the course of the years. I can't pinpoint it to any one particular thing.
I think a lot of stuff just adding up.
Yeah.
To get you where you are now.
And goes, there's a shelf behind me. I don't know if you can see it, but I was sitting here one night at the computer and one of the pictures came flying off the wall. There's a wall in front of my computer where I'm sitting, and we had a dog that would come up and ring the bell to go outside. And there was one night, I heard the bell ring, and I was like, okay, I'll get up from the computer in a second and go get it. And I heard it again. And both of my cats got up and looked around the corner of the wall, and I got up and looked around the corner of the wall, and there was nothing there. The bell was as still as could be. The dog was asleep on the bed, just weird things like that. Things would disappear and reappear, and it's just all kinds of crazy stuff.
It's like those things where taken like on a case by case basis, there is not really anything, but if you add it all up together, it's like, okay, well, yeah. There's something definitely going on here.
Yeah, what was really funny is we tried to make a joke out of it because I had young kids. So we had like this, it was like a 3D dinosaur puzzle. And somehow the pieces got all over the place. We couldn't find them all. And so we put the dinosaur back together, and it had one missing piece. We couldn't find it anywhere for probably 6 months. And one night I made a joke with the kids, and I'm like, okay, Ghost, bring the piece back. And it wasn't 2 days later, that piece was found in the middle of the floor, where if we had been, we had looked and looked and looked and looked, and I had no idea where it came back from, but it did.
Wow. Well, at least the ghost listened to you and brought it back eventually.
My son even put a candy cane on the tree and put a note around it and said, "To the ghost." And we put it on the tree every year.
That's awesome.
I was going to say, Teresa asked a question, like, how do you manage all of that activity in your home? Is that kind of what you do? You just treat them like they belong there, or how are you handling all the stuff going on?
Yeah, some things are kind of creepy, like, the strainers that sit in the middle of your stainless steel sink. We heard a noise one night, and we woke up, and one of those strainers is out in the middle of the kitchen floor.
Wow.
Just weird things like that, that you can't explain. I was in the kitchen doing dishes one night, and I heard something fall, and I turned around, and there's a penny in the middle of the floor. So where did that come from? And it's just, I went to visit some relatives in Arizona about 10 years ago, and one of their, I have some cousins, and their girls, and their brother had killed himself. And I had tried to talk to them and tell them, hey, talk to him. He's there. He'll listen to you. And I had one cousin that said, well, if he's going to listen, you need to tell him to listen to me, because, she just didn't believe anything, never heard anything. And that was when I saw the full body apparition, is when I got back from that trip. I woke up in the middle of the night and he was standing beside my bed, and he just looked at me and backed up into my closet and just disappeared. And I swear to God, I've never been so cold in my life. But it was him, I'm sure, telling me, that it was a good thing that I tried to talk to his sisters to get them to, listen to him and to believe in it.
It's good that you felt calm. And you weren't scared. Because usually when you wake up and there's somebody standing next to your bed, you're not expecting them to be there. You're going to get scared no matter what.
Yeah, I was a little scared, but I was kind of, I had my wits about me, and I just watched him, and he didn't say anything. He just looked at me. He had on blue jeans and a plaid shirt, because he was a cowboy, and that's how he dressed. And he just, like I said, slowly backed into my closet and disappeared. But I swear every hair on my body stood up. Freezing cold.
Wow. How about you, Sharon? How did you get into the paranormal?
Well, mine started probably around the age of 8 when I had my first apparition. Was in my bedroom. I shared a bedroom with my sister. I'm one of 8, so I thought it was my brother playing jokes on me. And I started screaming, and it just disappeared into thin air. So then I went and told my mother, and I said, Freddie's playing jokes on me again, Mom. You better tell him to stop. She said, Freddie's not even home. He spent the night at her friend's house. So I don't know what it was, but from then on, I was very, very cautious about what I allowed in the house and what I didn't allow in the house. I kept my Bible close to me. I kept my rosary. I didn't know if it was evil. I had no idea. But that was the last time I saw it, until after my divorce. I was laying in bed, and I don't know what woke me up, but there was a face right in front of me. And I screamed so hard, both of my daughters come running in my room, thinking my ex-husband got in, and they're ready to fight, and there's nothing there. But I swear it was right in my face. So that got me interested in it. Then I saw Amy and I went to school together. So when I saw one of her videos on Facebook or TikTok, I contacted her and said, I want to go. I want to go search this stuff out. I believe, but I don't believe. So like if I hear a bang, I want to run down there. If I don't automatically put it to paranormal. Right. I always say, there's got to be an explanation. We had some really cool things that happened to us, Sandy and I, when we were doing an investigation. And people think that when you go to an investigation, you're going to have all this activity all at once. It's very boring sometimes. You just sit there, you ask questions, you don't hear anything. You're like, is this a waste of my time? People don't understand that. It's not like TV. Right. But when something does happen, Sandy and I were in a bedroom. People were just claiming these cat balls, but we had a cat ball sitting on a dresser. We were on a bed. Our feet were not even touching the ground. And this cat ball went off. You would have thought we were little kids in a toy store and we could pick out any toy we wanted. We were like, what? Look at this one. We were just so excited because something finally happened. Yeah. And then when we kept asking questions, it would go off. Well, how old are you? Are you between the ages of 5 and 10? And it didn't go off. Are you between the ages of 10 and 15? And then it went off. Are you a boy or a girl? Are you a boy? Or are you a girl? I think we said first, and it didn't go off. And we said, are you a boy? And it went off. And I even took Amy's camera and panned down to our feet so that they knew that Sandy and I weren't touching the floor. There was no vibration. Nobody was, they were saying that if you talk loud enough, you can make the cat ball roll. There's no way, because we were just sitting there talking to ourselves when we saw the first lights. So, that was so cool.
It was.
Do I still believe in paranormal? Yes. The reason why I want to get into it and stay in with it is because I want to prove to myself that it's true, because I know there's other dimensions. I feel that when after my daughter died in 2017, I feel her all the time. I you know, if I'm having a bad day and I'm just sitting here and I'm like, oh, geez, Gigi, I wish you were here. You could rub my back, you could rub my shoulder, and then I'd feel her, on my shoulder. So I believe there's a dimension. I believe you can choose to go on or stay or something like that. And I want to know more. I want to know if they can see us, if they, do they know what's going on in our realm? We don't know what's going on in theirs, that kind of thing. And I like to help people. We've gone on a couple of
residential
investigations for people, personal, to go into their homes and research stuff. And that makes you feel good that you can, say, yes, you're not crazy. This is happening. And it doesn't seem to be evil or what have you. And then, give them our investigations and let them decide what to do, or tell them they're flat out crazy. Cause
we never do that.
We've never done
no, we don't
that.
do that. We'll give them explanations.
We're very
like,
professional.
there's squirrels in your attic.
Yeah.
Or we see the squirrel's nest hanging over the eave there. You can hear it. So that's what you're hearing in the wall is the squirrels. Call an exterminator, that type of thing. No,
well,
we don't
first of all,
crazy.
I want to say sorry. I'm very sorry for your loss.
Oh, thank you.
When you saw the spirit in your closet, you thought it was your brother, and you saw the face that came up to you. Was it the same thing, you think, or was it different? Were they different?
I wasn't as scared when I was younger, but when that was right in my face, as before, it was in the doorway. It wasn't close enough to me. And then recently, I experienced where you're paralyzed and you can't move.
Sleep
and
paralysis?
I saw, yes, and I know I was awake. I could not move, but I can only move my eyes. And I saw that my TV in my bedroom was on. And then when I looked to the bottom of my bed, I don't want to say it was the devil, because I don't know if it was the devil. I don't know what it was. I know I was scared. I know I was so scared that the only thing I could do was to pray. And I prayed to said the Blessed Mother, prayed to her, and I said her prayer, and then it was gone. And I haven't had it since. I was actually afraid to even sleep in my bedroom the very next night. I slept on the couch.
Wow.
But since then, it's been fine. I haven't had anything like that before.
Interesting.
So, and that scared me.
Talking about praying, how important is protection for your team when you go into a haunted location?
It's very important. Yeah, it's very important. I always say I can't even think of the prayer now, Amy.
I
Archangel.
Think,
yeah, I always say the Archangel prayer, and he's the warrior, and to protect me in there. Don't let anything attach to me hurt me, and don't let anything come home with me.
And
yeah, I always bring crystals and I always say, before I leave a place, that nothing and no one is allowed to come home with me.
I was just going to say, like, everybody on our team has different faith backgrounds and beliefs. So we kind of just leave it up to the individual. I know some teams, might pray or do something as a team, but I think whatever, trying to be respectful of everyone. So whatever they feel is best. I know myself, I usually do have some sort of religious artifact on me, as well as, wearing different gems or something like that. But, and surround myself with light, just ask for protection from the creator, kind of just to bathe in light. And yeah.
And I do ask my daughter who died. She was a pretty big girl. I wouldn't say she was fat. She was not fat by any means, but she was not petite, not even when she was born. So I always say to her, hey, I'm going to need you on this one. Keep guard of me.
Bodyguard.
That's right. Protect me.
Good to have help on the other side.
Yes.
Exactly.
So how do you handle your home investigations? Do you have a protocol, or like how do you work with, homeowners and that kind of thing?
Sure. They'll get in contact with us usually via email. And what I do is we'll write them back. I inform the team, that we may have a case. A lot of times people reach out. However, after we send them the questionnaire, it dwindles down. I'm not sure if they think, we are part of the Tabbs family. And sometimes I think they think they're going to be on TV, and it's like, no, we're coming. And, this is how it is. But I also think that, but what we do is they fill out a questionnaire. I call them on the phone and have a conversation, and our questions kind of, we asked different questions, personal questions, and what have you, see to make sure it's a healthy place for us to go into, and
safe environment.
Exactly. And we usually ask that if we could have the home, for a couple of hours. We've in the past, this was before Sandy and Sharon joined, but we were in a house, and we did ask the family to come back because we weren't getting anything, and we thought maybe having the woman come back and see if it was going to interact with her there, which it did not. But that's what usually we do. People have been really good. They let us into the home. We're able to debunk one. There's one that I wish we could kind of go back into this home. It happened right before COVID. And so we couldn't debunk it, and we couldn't say it was paranormal. It was very weird. But that the only evidence is like this plastic file bin flying off the shelf in the closet. The little young child felt like he was seeing like a monster in the closet. We were there and I think they left the house at like 4. We asked them to put the bin back, and it was just one of those plastic file cabinets,
Mm-hmm.
file bins, with like you can put files inside. And they
it was
had
just a little plastic one.
Yeah, it was semi big, with a handle and whatnot. And we're sitting there. That was like at 4, and we did a variety of things. So about 2 hours later, we were downstairs in the living room, and we had cameras on it, but not really probably good angles. And all of a sudden, we were talking. Sandy, Sharon, were you there that night?
Yeah.
So we're all just kind of chatting, and I'm going, I just don't understand why a plastic file cabinet like that with kids' drawings in it would be pushed off. And then all of a sudden we hear kaboom, and we were like, holy shit, it was like, that's the file cab thing. So we go running up the steps. Sure enough, it's in the middle of the living room floor.
We had someone watching the camera.
Remember, well, that was the second time we went back to the house.
No,
I was there the second time, not the first time.
Well, the first time.
The first time someone was watching the cameras and said, yeah, that was it, while you and I were sitting in the living room. And
oh, that's right. I think it was Terry that was was there and said, yeah, it fell. We definitely, when I went up and I put a K2 by it, it was giving off like some energy. But then there's like this other caveat, like when you walked into the house in the foyer, it was like a larger foyer, or hallway. It was big. They had a big security panel for their house. And as soon as you walked in, your meters were going off. So it was emitting so much of like electromagnetic. It was just crazy, and it fed up into the bedroom. So you couldn't put anything in the closet, a REM pod, a K2. I mean, because it was constantly going off, and I don't know,
And the
like
shelf wasn't level either.
it
I
was
brought a little
inclined a
level.
little bit.
It was
We went
off
back.
by a little. Yeah.
Yeah, we
But it
went back to
flew
try
off the
to
shelf.
debunk it. The weird thing
Okay.
about it was, like that was at 4 o'clock. Around 6 o'clock, it fell off. We put it back up, and we're all sitting around, doing a EVP session and trying to see what happened. And about 15 to 20 minutes later, I think I said something about the little boy, like about the container again. And damn if it didn't fly off the shelf. Scared the bejesus out
Every
of us.
time we talked about it, it flew off the shelf.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the only time. It was just wild.
It was
That's-
weird. It was weird. They
But then
came
our
home.
second time was cut short because she had taken her dogs out with her, and the dogs got sick, so she came back. So we had to
Yeah.
stop the investigation, and then
Yeah.
COVID hit, so we didn't have the opportunity to go back.
And it did the second night it did come out, but it came out very slowly.
Very slow.
Like we had somebody watching the camera the whole time, and it just, so it's like, did it drift forward? I talked to other people, and a guy said, well, if that something, like, I don't necessarily understand energy and all. I just know that area was like a fear cage or something. I mean, it was just nuts with the K2 and stuff, and millimeters and stuff.
You can't rule out that it wasn't the electrical part of because that's right where the wall was.
Right.
Exactly.
Cabinet was that went up into the bedroom. So
Well, I
couldn't rule
told her, I'm
that
like,
out
we
either.
can't confirm it and we can't say it's not,
Right.
and then COVID happened, and then I haven't been able to get in touch with her. So maybe they moved, but
It's
it
really
kind of
neat.
bothered me.
It's really neat that you guys all had experiences when you were younger,
Mhm.
but you didn't have people you could talk to about it like we're doing right now. Mostly it was go to church or something like that, but that was
Right.
like,
Yeah,
you better be levitating off the bed, spitting green pea soup.
exactly.
So it's cool
or the devil's in you.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be so extreme to get help, because it's not always like that.
Right.
It could be something what these families dealing with, where it's like, it's not like demonic or whatever, but it's enough to be scared in your own house. And it's cool that they're able to reach out to people like you guys and talk and calm them down, which your parents didn't have when you were younger. Maybe you would have able to handle it differently.
exactly.
When you go into places like these homes, do you kind of go back to when you were a kid and approach it like that? Like, okay, I know what it feels like to be in this situation, so I am more readily available to, be more of an understanding ear.
Most
Yeah, so
definitely.
for me, it would be more not from my own experience, but as a mother.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a child involved, my daughters had always said that she would see a black figure coming into a room, and she would pray to my grandfather to get rid of it, and it would go away. So it was more like when I would go to these people's houses, I felt for the kid. We got to do something for this child. We have to make it so that they feel comfortable. Find out what exactly is going on and see what we can do to help.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like, you empathize with the family, knowing, and kind of piggyback on what Sharon just mentioned is, yeah, you want to help them out and put them at ease, and also say, you're not imagining this, or it's just this, and to go back, I see, we did advise the family to get an electrician in, because they were saying that the father spent a lot of time in the emergency room with stomach issues and various things, and it could be affecting the boy to see something. We tried to debunk, we laid in the bed, that little boy's bed, looking to see what it looked like getting in. You have to try all angles. you know, and we try to educate people with that. Like, don't automatically assume it's paranormal, you know, and I did say, please, you know, go have that checked. I'm not sure, you know, if they did or not. Of course, if we had other evidence that pointed towards it, it would make it easier to say, hey, yeah, we got voices or whatever. But it was interesting.
And not all to assume the paranormal is evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
it's not.
No jump into
Most of the time, it's not.
That's true. So you guys are from Baltimore or Maryland area. I don't know if you're all from Baltimore or not. But I don't really know much about haunted locations in Baltimore. What is like one of some of the best haunted locations up there?
Oh, wow.
In Maryland?
In Maryland.
Maryland,
you know, it's
Baltimore
funny
area.
because we haven't
Fort
been
McHenry.
able. Yeah.
Fort McHenry.
We haven't been able to get in some of these places, but definitely Fort McHenry. We went to the Essex Heritage Museum. It's in Essex, which is a little outskirt or town in Baltimore County. That did have some activity in there. So that's not maybe like a famous, well-known place, but there's a lot of other, you know, mansions and whatnot around. Unfortunately, we just haven't had the opportunity to get in there. There's a place by the airport. Oh gosh, the name escapes me now. Maybe somebody that's watching.
See, a lot of these places want too much money too.
That's
they want you to investigate,
Yeah.
and they want to give you, you know, got to give us $2,000 for a night, you know.
Or
So
they just don't allow us to come.
Or
you
right,
know.
or they don't allow.
We
find a lot of areas in Maryland are like that. They don't want to be known as a haunted location, so they don't even want you checking it out.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Instead, we're known for what? Crime.
And crabs.
And crabs.
And crabs. Yeah.
And crabs. There you go.
Steamed crabs.
There you go. Crabs are good.
Yeah.
We have the same problem here in Virginia. A lot of places, you know, don't want to have the stigma, I guess.
Yeah.
When they're in their eyes of, you know, being a paranormal location, which I guess they don't realize that paranormal can bring in a lot of money.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
You can investigate, and they'll come back and they want to learn the history of the place and get to know it. So when they come back for another investigation, they'll have even more, you know, stuff to talk about and maybe get more evidence. It's really a symbiotic relationship between a historic location and, you know, a paranormal investigator. Rhonda works with Belgrove Plantation, which is a historic location here in Virginia. I'll let her tell you about that spot.
Yes,
the one in King George. Yeah, we went there
a couple years ago.
Well, there you go.
Nice.
That's a very cool place.
That was
where we had the video of the cat jumping on the bed.
The Conway room.
Yes.
Yes.
I've seen that cat.
Yeah,
I was spending the night there, and I was walking to the bathroom through that little hallways that are in the bedrooms. And you know, you're half asleep, and I look over and I'm like, "Hey, kitty!" And I go to the bathroom like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah, we have a video of
the shadow was no longer there.
We have a video of one of the girls sleeping, and you can see the covers move like a cat jumped on the bed and laid down.
That was, doing
wild.
The kneading thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just sunk in. You know how boring you're doing interviews. You're watching the evidence, and I'm like watching Jessica sleep, and I'm just like watching dusk go by, and I'm like, gosh, this is going to be 4 hours of watching somebody sleep, and then all of a sudden, the bedspread goes down, and then up near her eyes, it glistened, right? And I was like, let me play that back. And I watched it like at least 100 times, looking to see if it's her legs. And I'm like, her legs didn't move. She's asleep. Her eyes are closed. What's the glistening? That's a cat's eyes. That's got to be a cat. But the weird thing is, like, Jess and I had shared that bed because we didn't have enough places to sleep. So I had dreamt that night, like I felt like a big thump came on the bed. And I felt like I sat up. This is interesting because I'm waiting to waiting to see me do this, which I never did. So I must have been dreaming it. But then when I'm watching it and I see this, indentation of the bed covers, and I'm like, I just kept focusing on her legs, and nothing. Her legs did not move. So it's like, oh my God, I got to text everybody, like I was so bored watching Jessica and I sleep. But then all of a sudden, you get something. So that's like the exciting part. But we have to go back there because it was just an amazing night for us.
Yes.
Oh, good. I'm glad. It never seems to disappoint. I mean, sometimes like everywhere else, we sit there, we're talking to each other, and especially if we're doing public investigations, you're like trying to entertain everybody, but you usually get something at Belgrove.
You do,
get something.
Yeah.
It's either off the charts or you're just getting a little something here and there, but it's enough to make believers of people, or
most definitely
their interest even more. So
yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, Amy got a shadow figure on camera there in the kitchen, the outdoor kitchen.
Yeah, in the outdoor
That's
kitchen.
right.
That was a weird night too. That in there we have a lot of stuff that happened. Lacey was with me. We had split into two, and we were just kind of talking, and we were trying to connect, with who might be there, and we started talking about what you cook, right? I mean, it was just like, did you cook chicken, turtle? We were just thinking about what people would have been eating back in the day. And Lacey was coming from like a mother figure. And like we were saying, oh, I'm sorry if you were treated poorly, just trying to empathize. But we're sitting there, and you know how it is in there. Like, I think there's like one window over here. There was no moonlight. And I just had my camera light, IR light that's fixated on the stone fireplace. And I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden, like this shadow that looked like the size of a basketball. This is what was weird. Yes, Marilyn, the Benson Hammond house. She's going back to the other thing by the airport, the house. But anyway, it just kind of like went back and forth. It was like kind of floating. And at first I didn't think anything of it, but then I'm like, Lacey, do you see that? And she goes, yeah, I did it before, but I thought it was like a bug. And I'm like, that can't be a bug. I was like, it's the size of a basketball. I'm like, there's no light source. I mean, it's just the IR light. It was enough for us to see, like it illuminated the stone fireplace. But I was like, it can't be, because we'd see the bug. Even if it was in front of us, like it just didn't move like a bug. So then we tried to debunk it, and we couldn't debunk it. So then Lacey's like, I'm going to go around to the other side. And we had a motion sensor. You know how like the fireplace is here.
in the middle, yeah.
Motion sensor set to the left.
Okay.
Away from the door. Okay. And so she went around to the right. So we had tried to debunk the shadow. We smelled cigar smoke. And we tried to debunk it. So then she goes around. So she's walking, I'm walking. That motion sensor never went off. Okay. So she goes around, and we're trying to, talk and get answers, have the REM pod go off. And all of a sudden, Lacey screams and runs back the same way. So she doesn't go past this motion sensor, and the motion sensor went off. And I said, where were you standing in there? And she's like, I was like in the middle. She's like, I said, well, when you bolted to the right, the motion sensor went off. But now that was
on the left.
Yeah, on the left.
The motion sensor was on the left.
Yeah. And this was like her second investigation. She got scared because she said like a light or something was forming in front of her, almost like an apparition or something. And it scared her, and she ran back. So here I am thinking, oh my gosh, do I I'm like checking with her. Now, mind you, my camera is sitting on my lap, right, this whole time. And so I'm like, are you okay? Do you need to go back? Oh, are you here with us? So it's like I'm trying to investigate. And I'm also trying to take care of Lacey. Like, do you need to go back? Are you okay? Can we keep doing this? Because we got activity, like it was cool, but I also was concerned for Lacey. So she's like, no, I need to face I need to face this. And also, eventually we went back. But then in reviewing the evidence, besides that, if you look at it, people are going to say, oh, it's a bug or whatever. I can't. I mean, I've never seen a shadow that's just a circle, but like a shadow figure just like that. But then I was sitting still with this. Lacey was over there. I had been filming that the whole time and never had this happen. It wasn't Lacey because it came from the right to the left, a shadow figure of a person, right? So head, shoulders, that kind of goes like this and peeks out and then comes back in to where I was. And I was like, that's not us moving, because Lacey's over here to my left and it's coming from the right this way and then goes back. It was crazy. We went back there later. I'm like, you guys have to go back in there, but it was quiet.
Yeah, and another team went in too and didn't get anything. So
yeah, we do find a lot of times in the summer kitchen, women get more activity than mixed
men.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the little sprinkler outside scared me every time it went off. It's motion. We didn't know it was motion. It was over their garden, and they have the motion sprinkler to keep the deer and all the wild. And every time we walk by it, the thing would scare the heck out of me. Every time it went off. And then what was it, a coyote or a fox or something
we heard screaming.
It sounded like a woman screaming, but it was a
fox.
Yeah, fox. They sound like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have foxes behind the cabin on 360, and you walk in the woods, you hear it screaming, like, oh my God, just a fox.
Yeah.
So you got to debunk everything. You got to go through and look at everything.
Yeah, they can be creepy at night when you're by yourself in the woods. You hear a scream, and you're like, oh shit.
Exactly. Exactly.
You get all excited. Oh my God! You're like, oh, it was just a fox.
Yeah.
So,
or if you're in a tunnel and they got the snakes.
Yeah, that'd be creepy too. So, how important do you think is like your attitude going into an investigation?
You got to be open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you don't want to. You also want to be open-minded, but you also want to have facts. You don't want to assume that everything is going to be paranormal, because then you could create stuff yourself.
Right.
So you have to go in with an open mind and know the difference between that is a bird, or that is, a shadow, or that noise came from that doorknob because of the wind coming through. You can't automatically assume, okay, we're going to go in. They say this is the haunted, the most haunted place here. Let's go in there. You can't say definitely something's going to happen, because you don't know. You never know what they could be haunted for you and not for somebody else.
Yeah, it's a crapshoot that way. I agree. Like, you have to go with an open mind, and depending on where you're going, I myself like to know a little bit of history of a place, because that's how I need to come with that mindset, right? Like in Belgrove to figure that out, right? Or when we go to Moundsville or St. Albans or something, and I'm like one of these guys, like, everybody brings their spirit, or their gifts or what they like, and I like to play music from the period, because usually, sometimes, a lot of times, you get a response. I also, especially if they say like young people are haunting, if they feel like there's a young spirit, you're coming with a younger song or what have you, get down. So I think the research and getting to know, not necessarily the haunting, where it's like pointing out the spots, but going and knowing how to approach.
It's good to
what
know the
could
story.
Possibly be there. Pardon?
It says it's good to know the story.
Yeah.
Behind what's happening, so you can have a better chance of communicating, or just being able to reach out to the spirits that are there and have something that they can communicate with, or understand, if you know exactly what they went through and stuff. When you go to a dark location like Trans-Allegheny or St. Albans, when you go out there, how important to you is for you to go in there with a positive attitude, compared to, if something's happening in your life, would there be any chance of you not going because of just some negative stuff happening in your life?
I personally think that's important. The first time that I was with St. Albans, I really picked up on the energy. It especially down in the bowling alley area. I was like, I've got to get the F out of here. That's how I was like, I got to get the F out of here. And I'm not sure if it was me going in being a tad nervous ahead of time, or if I was picking up on the energy. But I think it's important that you have to kind of go more in a positive light, because I do feel they're like, oh, we have this, maybe can be manipulated some if you're super depressed or you're super anxious or whatever.
Yeah, and that's another reason why you don't want to go in, having, drinking or on drugs or anything like that, because you want to make sure that your spirit and your aura is clear and strong. And if you're, in a bad way and you're depressed and you're open to negative feelings, you don't want to invite more of that in.
Right.
Agreed.
100%. There's no drinking, nothing beforehand. Well, just to keep a clear mind.
I mean, plus, if you're drinking before you go on an investigation, whatever evidence you're going to get is going to be tainted, or people are going to think it's tainted because you were drinking. So it's just, and what we do is it's built on trust, and really taking our word for it as far as evidence is concerned. And it turns out, they were drinking before. No one's going to believe it. So, you have the best experience ever. But if you had any kind of alcohol, any kind of substance in you, people were like, oh, well, that's obviously was alcohol talking. So it's really
but it also changes, your spiritual being to more of a negative energy, That's my thought anyway.
Yeah.
Lisa says clear energy. Meditate for I mean, it's good advice. Just be prepared, especially when you go into a really, really dark location. I know I tell people when they come out to the cabin on 360, man, it's like they look like two ordinary houses. But once you get here, it can really mess with your mind if you're not prepared for what is here. And it doesn't happen every time, so it's not like every person who comes to the cabin gets possessed or whatever. But it has happened where people get angry for no reason. There have been a man who wanted to actually hit his wife during an investigation.
Wow.
It doesn't happen all the time, but there is always a chance for it to happen. And it's always good to be prepared.
Exactly.
For it.
I know that's what I say to everybody is just keep an eye.
Did you freeze Amy?
Oh, yep. Somebody didn't want Amy to talk. You're gonna spill the beans.
You're not giving that advice.
That was interesting.
There she is.
There, you're back.
Oh, good. I didn't do anything.
About to solve the world hunger, and it froze up on us. So
Well, that was perfect.
Spirits didn't want you talking.
Exactly. Well, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, no, that you do have to watch out for your teammates because anything can
As
happen.
well.
You know, we've had other people have something happen, and just like kind of how I was feeling at St. Albans. And then Sharon, we just went to Trans-Allegheny at the beginning of the summer, and Sharon had an experience going up to that third top floor where the creeper is. And
but see, we didn't
the energy
know.
was different up there. We knew because I had said we didn't know exactly where, but just said it was.
But
up
I
on the
didn't
third
know
floor.
what was up there. And as soon as we got up there, we're going down these hallways, and I said to Amy, I feel real heavy on my chest. I'm like I'm getting anxiety or something. She said, well, what do you want to do? I said, we'll keep going. We'll keep going. And we kept going. And then we get down to the end, the very end of one hallway, and we're getting ready to cross over. What did they call that? The bridge?
Well, over the,
and I said,
like,
Amy, I can't go in there, Amy. I don't know why, but I can't go in there. I got to go back. She said, do you want me to walk you back? I said, no, you stay with who? Linda. You stay with Linda, and I'm going to walk back. Well, as I'm walking back, I'm getting sick to my stomach. I feel like I'm going to throw up. And I said, I hope I can get back down to the first floor before I get sick. And then by the time I got down to the first floor, I felt better, but it felt like I was drained. I was tired. I was exhausted. And I'm so sorry we didn't go back up that day because it was getting close to when we had to get out.
Yeah, it was early in the
So
morning.
it's on my bucket list to go back to the exact same spot.
Yeah.
So
Linda and I were going to go back there, but she was kind of like, I don't feel like going, back in that area where they say the creeper is. So we went, instead of to the right, we walked down the hall to the left, and it was very heavy. You definitely felt something was brewing up there. And then what was weird is we were standing there, and we had people like on the next floor, and then I think like Sharon and I think Marianne and all were down in the first floor, and but Marisol and Jason were all the way over on the other wing, towards the right. And we're standing there, and all of a sudden, I don't even know what I could say. It's in one of the rooms down in the corner by the door was a light. I would say kind of like a fairy light. That's the only thing I could think of. It was just like sparkles, like this down at the bottom. But because I'm looking this way, Linda's looking that way. So when she diagonally, and when she goes, there's a light in that room. And I said, I just saw light down here. I said, somebody must be shining a flashlight or something. But like out of the corner of my eye, I could see the light that she saw, and it was more flashing the whole area, right? But mine was like just little, I don't know, fairy lights. So we went in the room because I expected to see first a window with like a car, something beaming in. But the window in those rooms, and I guess because they were like, they had people up there that were very violent and whatever. The window is high up on the wall, it's high up. And there was a wall in between the two rooms. So it was like no light shining through that. When we talked to the other investigators that night, people had reported seeing like a little type of light that we couldn't necessarily debunk. And then we heard noises, like doors slamming or whatever. So that was good. I mean, like you said, our time was kind of up, and we need to go back there and start up there because we started downstairs. But we had some really cool things happen down. Like we went down by where the Civil War section, and then we were walking up to the front. We were finishing to go get a snack, and Sharon and I both smelled the smell of roses. It was really pungent, and we both said it. And then we walked, and it was hot. We went there when in April, we thought it was going to be chilly in there, and it was hot in there. And we smelled the roses, and then instantly it was freezing cold. I mean, freezing. And I expected the outside temperature to feel like that. And I thought, oh, they must just have a window open. It must be a draft. But as you walked, it got warm again. And then the outside air was warm. It wasn't as cold as that spot we went through. it was freezing. Like I've never felt a cold spot like that cold before. It was pretty cool.
And the smell, it was like
Yeah, the
there
roses.
and then it was gone.
Yeah.
So it didn't like it lingered or anything.
Yeah.
So Elisa asked if there's anything you guys do in particular when you start feeling sick. Is it basically just leave the area you're in when you start feeling sick, or is there anything you guys do to help yourselves?
Well, I usually just leave the area and then get something to drink.
Yeah, same.
And do you guys bring anything besides? You said the archangel prayer. Do you bring like stones or anything as far as protection when you go into a location?
I bring crystals.
I bring my rosary and my crucifix that I carry with me.
Yeah, and I bring some stone. I cover both bases. I have my rosary in my pocket, and then I also have some stones.
And my crucifix.
Okay.
It's always good to be prepared.
With me everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I tell everybody, especially new people as well. Like you gotta be prepared for anything.
Yep.
Because you don't know.
You really don't. You really don't know what you're dealing with.
No, you don't.
You can have an idea, but in the long run, it's yeah.
But as I tell everybody, I'm more afraid of the living than I am the dead.
I would agree.
That is true. That is definitely true.
Or animals or creatures. Bats?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I've been attacked by bats at St. Albans, actually.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walking down to the women's ward down in St. Albans. Yeah, that was not fun.
Oh, jeez.
Up near the suicide hallway. I went upstairs went into the room. There was a dove in there that flew out. That flew out our head when we were in there. So you
get more scared when something flies like at your head than you do if you hear a disembodied voice or a door slam. You're like, oh, a door slam, great. Can you do it again? But then we're screaming when the bats are flying at our heads.
I mean, we're actually looking for that stuff. We actually want the ghost. We're not trying to get.
Exactly.
We don't want the bats.
Yeah. If we were
or mice
bat investigators, we'd be hell yeah, come on. But no, we want the ghost to come.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I know it's getting late. It's 10:08.
Okay.
Way past Amy's bedtime. And I just want to thank you, ladies, for coming on and chatting with us tonight. We're going to have you back on. And once we get everything going back at the cabin again, we have to have you guys come out to the cabin on 360.
We'd love to.
Yeah,
we've been talking about that, so we'd love to.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be awesome. So, again, Maryland Ghost Trackers from Baltimore, Maryland. Go check them out. Go check out their Facebook page. And go check out their website. They got a lot of cool stuff on there. Got some cool investigations coming up. And thank you so much for coming on, guys.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
You guys have a great night.
Night.
You too.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Well, that was fun. I really enjoyed talking to them.
Me too. I feel like we could have talked another hour.
We really could. It was great learning from them, and they were one of our old paranormal shout outs we used to do. We have to bring them back.
Yeah.
We can start booking guests for next year. Oh man, so this was fun. Do you guys know what you're going to be doing on the on Sunday for the Around Effect?
I do not know.
It'll be a surprise.
It will be a surprise.
It will be a surprise.
I have no idea who our guest is.
I'm excited to find out.
Me too.
Keep us on the edge of our seats.
That's
what
right.
You call a teaser. So you got to find out on Sunday who Rhonda and Howie are going to be talking
who will
to.
we have?
Who are they going to be talking to? I know we're going to be talking to next week.
Who are we talking to?
Larry Eisler. He is the Larry Eisler III. He is an author, paranormal investigator. He wrote Haunted Road Media.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, we have him on. Then we've got Lost Souls of East Tennessee on September 17th. Ghost Sisters on September 24th, and the Connor Sisters on October 1st.
Woohoo!
So we are good. And then we have Dave Spinks talking Bigfoot on October 8th. So guys, we are bringing you the best paranormal content we can think of. We are teaching you stuff. We are learning new words. We're replacing skyscrapers with sky pokers. Dude, we're giving to you.
Yeah.
And we are so happy that you joined us tonight on the Freakin' Awesome Paranormal Show. I actually wrote down the people who actually watched this show, because I usually miss out on people. Let's see.
We had a whole bunch. We've had some just join. So hello, Christine and Liz and
Gina, Lisa.
And, yeah.
Tell you what, man. Just thank you so much. Really appreciate everyone tuning in, listening to us talk to these great teams. We appreciate all our freaks out there. Right. Let's see. Thank you to Kristen, Teresa, Lois, Marilyn, Spirit Guides Paranormal, Courtney, Elizabeth, Victoria, Tatey, Christine, Shonda and Michael Brooks, Jeremy Lefevre, Fleetwood Paranormal, Emily C. Warner, Brandy Stevens, or Edward, Rick, Ronnie and Shayla Ricard, and Richard Johnson. Thank you to Liz Milne, Christine Wisdom, Gina Baldnar, and Lisa Marie. I saw Lisa Marie twice, but it's all good. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Emily Warner. Spirits.
Maybe they could be a guest.
Yes, we've got a whole year next year to fill out. So we'll definitely be in touch with them, and hopefully everyone had a good time tonight. And we'll be back here next Tuesday night, same freaking awesome time.
Same freaking awesome channel.
Oh yeah, we'll see you next week, guys.
Bye.